All right, ladies and gentlemen, just going to go over a quick few things for the Graphing Quadratics 2 packet. This is meant to just be a practice for what you had learned in the previous packet. And the directions does say cut out the graphs from the other packet and paste them where they belong. But you don't need to do that. You can just look at the answer, the graphs that have been made, and like figure out which one matches it. So let's say you're looking at this equation, you think it's graph D, then you can just put D there, and that's fine. Maybe not that big, but like D, and you're good to go. But I did want to go over a couple things so you can remember how to graph these and what the graphs are supposed to look like, and so you can match these up. So first things first, you need to know what vertex form looks like, and you have to know what the parts do. And so a few things to remember. This number and this number determine your vertex. So the number inside here is the horizontal change, and then the number outside is your vertical change. So your vertex is going to be at hk. Remember, it's x minus h. And so if it was x minus 7, your vertex would start with 7. If it was x minus 4, though, your vertex would start with negative 4, because subtract negative is how you add. There. And then the other thing to remember is this a value. If it's negative, then your graph's going to be upside down. And if it's some other number like a fraction, or it's like 2 or 5 or whatever, it's going to make it your steepness or your slope of your graph twice as much, or 3 times as much, 5 times as much. So remember, normally your graph goes up by 1, and then 3, and then 5, and 7. If your a was something like a half, then these are going to go up half as much. So 1 half, 3 halves, 5 halves, halves, and then 7 halves, things like that. And so now that you've kind of gone over those things there, let's look at a couple of these just so you can see how they work and how they can help you in figuring out what the graphs are. And so this first one here, I notice it doesn't have anything in there with the x. It's not like x minus 2 or anything. It's just x squared, and there's no number outside either. So that lets me know that my vertex is going to just be at the normal 0, 0. That's the basic graph there. And this a value, though, is negative 2. And since it's negative, that lets me know it's going to be upside down. And the 2 there lets me know it's going to go twice, the slope is twice as much. So instead of going down 1, 3, 5, 7, it's going to go down 2, 6, 10, 14. And so you're looking for a graph that the vertex is at the origin, in the center there, and it's going down twice as much. So you just find the graph that has that and mark it. We're going to look at one other one pretty quickly here, because there's some of these that are not in vertex form, like this one. This is in standard form. If you look at some of these other ones, this one is in vertex form, so you can find your vertex, use your a value, and get your graph pretty quickly. This one's also in vertex form here, but some of them are not. So I'm going to look at 6, and this is in standard form, but you can take this function and put it in vertex form by completing the square. And to complete the square, you need the form to just be x squared plus bx equals stuff. This is not in that format right now, and so we're going to have to move things a bit so it looks like that. So I'm going to subtract this 9 here over. So I got y minus 9 equals half x squared plus 4x. And I need to get rid of this 1 half, and I can divide everything by a half. But dividing by a half is the same thing as timesing by 2. So I'm going to times the whole thing by 2, and it's going to be 2y minus 18 equals x squared plus 8x. So now this is ready to complete the square. Remember, to complete the square, you take this b value, you cut in half. Sorry, I don't write b. Your b value, cut in half, and then you square it. Half of 8 is 4, and 4 squared is 16, so I'm going to add 16 here. And this is new on that side, and so I'm going to add 16 on the other side to keep my equation equal. And so now I got 2y minus 2 equals, this is a perfect square trinomial, and it equals x plus 4 squared. If you're wondering where the 4 came from, it's this part. You cut b in half, and that's what's inside that binomial. And so my right side is now going to be x plus 4 squared. So now I'm here, I want to get it into vertex form by getting these two numbers back on the other side. So I'm going to add 2. I got 2y is x plus 4 squared plus 2. And then I get rid of this 2 here by dividing everything by 2. Divide 2, divide 2. And then we got y equals, this binomial cut in half is going to be 1/2 of the binomial. And then 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So now this is in vertex form. I know my vertex is going to be at -4, 1. Remember, it's supposed to be x minus. And so since it's plus, we're going to have a negative h value. And then my a value is 1/2 here. So it's going to be going up half as fast as it normally would. And I go and find the graph that matches. So there you go. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what's going on with this. You're matching graphs. Sometimes you have to convert to vertex form.